We will take it further because we are preparing a sequence of lectures now. Because in one evening we could not, embrace or try to grasp too much material because we just don't have the capacity. I find myself talking too long sometimes because I like to talk about this because it's easy for me. The reason why the herbs cure, because they contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Isn't this the basic structure of the human body? Meaning that there is similarity. They call that chemical affinity. Chemical affinity means it's one and the same, alike. They come together, and then assimilation takes place into production. So the thing that we've been eating, we are lucky we're alive and we're sitting in here today. And I'm enjoying this because we're pleasant. But the answer is love. But for love to enter, we have to eat the food that is consistent with this machine. It's only mean harmony. That's all it means. We go into a whole lot of hormonal flow and biochemical analysis. I could break it down into carbonates, iodides, bromides, phosphates. That doesn't mean anything. The bottom line is, are you doing the right thing? Yeah, okay, treat me. Like the man told me in Mexico. You say you could cure cancer, but I got cancer. You can cure me. It wasn't how and why do I have to trust you, and I don't really, that there's doubts in your head. That because someone says that they cure AIDS, and you doubt them, you know what I'm saying for you? That you live a lie. Because if you live truth, whatever anyone tells you, you believe it. Because you live truth. And you would never expect a lie from anyone. See, we live truth. So don't believe that when people make statements and you stand here and say, I don't believe you, that you're getting away. No, you just made yourself a fool. You just showed the world that you are the liar. Why should you even entertain that this person is telling a lie? Why would you do that? Well, I don't know, but I just don't trust him. Well, why? You see, if the person is lying, that's okay. They have to live that karma, right? Not you, but you placing yourself in the position of the liar when you deny that individual based on an assumption. No. Let us put forth understanding and common sense. Because really, we need you, and you need us. I need everybody in this room. Because I need your love, and you need mine. And as more of this we have, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be safer? It's not about challenging me. No. Yes, the Usha Institute is proud to say that we cure all these diseases. So Dorothea was in the audience when a lady stood up and said that her diabetes had left, and that's the one I mentioned last night to the gentleman. How could this compound be so good for one person and so many, and yet for one it's going to be so bad? That just doesn't make sense. But he was against it from the beginning, if you remember the program, when he said it last night on the air. He was against him. He said he was against his family taking these herbs. Yet the Bible said the herbs are for the healing of the nations. When he said that he was against his family taking the herbs, who was he really against? God. That's exactly right. But it was not his fault, because I love that man. And I hope that that man called me again. And I hope that I'd see that man. And I wanted to talk to that man again, although he was angry at me. But doesn't he have a right to be angry? Look at the stuff we've been eating. Look at the stuff we've been fed. He has a right to be angry. There's reason. But we don't want that this evening. We want the questions to be direct, sure. And I know the answer's going to baffle you sometimes, but that's okay. I'm not going to sit in front of you and tell you a whole bunch of lies, because it doesn't help me. So thank you very much. That was your lecture. There's a field of question and answer. And this is where the meeting really began, with the questions and the answers. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm taking the herbs from fig tree.
Yes.
But I'm having a difficult time weaning myself off of these other foods.
Well, that's what we just explained. This is why Sister Chandra's here this evening, to show you the new food. And I forgot to mention that. Sister Chandra is here to demonstrate a new cuisine. A cuisine that would gradually remove you from the one that was pushed on you, pushed on us, and became so habitual. I know. I have the same problem. When I go to Honduras, and my aunt cooked fried fish, oh, I like to go around and just smell it. Because I remember the evening when I used to eat fried fish, fresh fried fish from the ocean. But now all I could do is smell it. And my aunt would say, but aren't you going to eat some? No, I'm not going to eat stuff. I love meat too much. Please me. I don't want to suffer no pain. So I do not eat it. But I have 26 years of trial and error, or of weaning. And still have not weaned all, but weaning out to keep me healthy without any disease now. So what we will do, we're opening a center here in Chicago. And monthly we would have, you know, like gatherings or weekly gatherings showing how to prepare the new food. Taste it, because taste is what you're looking for. Because if I remove you from the food that your mama used to cook for you, well, you're not going to smell those spices and taste that taste, and you're going to soon throw this other stuff away, even though it is good and it's not your fault. So what we have done is to take the least of the harmful things, or the non-harmful, and prepare them in such a way that they would have the taste, and sometimes even better. That it would encourage you to make that transition. Sure, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. That's why Chandra's here today. Next question. Yes.
You mentioned fibroid tumors. Can you elaborate a little bit in terms of where those come from? I know you talked about mucus and stuff, what one can do in addition to the herbs to try to...
You remember Dorothea? I mean, my sister-in-law.
Oh.
You look just like her. And you talk like her, ask questions just like her. You answer the question I read, and that's what Dorothea always do to me. Okay. She said, Sebi, what about insanity? I heard you talk about mucus, but is that true? But you did. Sure, fibroid tumors is when the mucous membrane has been broken down into reproductive organs. And it begin to accumulate small, little balls they cannot see anything. And when they see them, oh, they're fibroids. And then the fibroids get bigger. And then they burst, become cancer. But it begin with what? Thank you. The wrong food that you've been eating. And I had an example of that in Dominica. And the lady told me to always call her name Ophelia Olivaci. She said to mention this, not to be ashamed to mention her name. Ophelia came to me and she had tumors and vaginal discharge profusely. And the whole other bit, and she said, you know, that she's been to doctors, gynecologists, OBGYN, and the whole bit. She's been to France. This is in Dominica now, in West Indies. And I told her I gave her the compounds and the douches, and after about a month or so, she was walking around without any panties. Her vagina was dry, and she was happy. In fact, she even showed it to me, so I could see. And she walked around without no panties. And guess what happened? This was the strangest thing that I was told this by someone, and I put it into motion this particular day. I said to her, I want you to have sex with your husband now. She had not had sex in about a month and a half. I said, have sex with Mom, and she did. And when she had sex with Mom, 2 days later, her vagina was dripping. I mean like a faucet. Now why? If I had cleansed her vagina, how come it's dripping now? You know why? It was draining down like a faucet. Because we learned that when we cleanse the woman's reproductive organ, and we have not cleansed her mate, baby, when your mate eat eggs and cheese and butter and milk and bread and coffee, and that goes into his body, that makes up the sum total of his hormonal flow and his hormone, his sperm is manufactured out of what? Acid substance. And now when you ejaculate that sperm into your uterus, you need any more than that? No, you don't. You're gonna break. He's gonna discharge all that stuff in you, that's acid. I know a sister divorced her husband because of that. And many, the sisters that came with us today, they will tell you that there are many sisters in New York, because when New York knows, we've been in now for 7 years, and there's a relationship. I know this too, and that's so beautiful, that all the people that makes up the Usha Institute, they all are ex-sick people like myself. Because we find a commonness now, you know, like there have been over maybe 1,000 or more people healed in New York. So out of that 1,000, about 500 of us still look the company of one another to be around and to talk about the experience. And we're now planning other things to do as a family, because, hey, we're getting well, you know, we could laugh and touch and tease each other. You know, I like to tease people. And it's nice. And Jay always teased me and talk about my funny ears and stuff, you know. But it's nice that we could absorb that, right? That we reached that level that we could really play. You know, like we used to play to the children. Oh, your nose look funny, you know, and all that kind of stuff. That's nice. So the Usha Institute now has a family. And the ladies that you see here today, they are part of the family. And they want to come and meet all of you here in Chicago. They want to come to be with me and to talk and tell you things that they have experienced themselves, what they have seen. Annette, she didn't talk, but she should have said something, because Annette traveled with me for 5 years. She's been all over the world with me, practically. I remember once Annette was breastfeeding her baby, and she was breastfeeding her baby like this is a corner. And she breastfeeding her baby on this end, on this side, but there was a line of children. When I came, I left Annette with the baby. She was nursing the baby. But when I came back, I said, 9 of children. But they were taking turns seeing Annette breastfeed the baby in Curacao. And I wondered, why was it doing that? What was it they were seeing? So a man came and asked me, are you her husband? I said, what you want to ask? Well, you know, she's not supposed to be breastfeeding that baby. I said, why? Because a woman's breast was made for a man. And I'm not, no. This is not laugh at, this was serious. This is Naruba, this is Crusade, the Dutch Antilles. And that's why they didn't want Annette to breastfeed, to show her breasts in public. What would have happened to that man if he had come to Africa 500 years ago? That's the only way we live. I mean, he would have had some kind of nervous problem, isn't it? Next question. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about manipulation, chiropractic manipulation and naturopath manipulations in terms of eliminating fibroids? That's my first question. And my second one is, what do you think about spirulina in terms of building the body cells?
Okay, we begin with spirulina. Spirulina is an algae.
Is it a natural?
Algae, it is natural, 100% natural. But the difficulty is this. In the natural kingdom of life, substance that retain their strength and electrical value are the roots, the barks, the berries, over a period of time, up to a year. Some barks up to 6 years. They will retain their strength, their electrical value. As for an algae or a leaf, no. 45 minutes after you have removed that substance from its life source, it's dead, completely dead. But the difference is that if you were to sit by a spirulina lake, that you could eat the spirulina after you harvest it, you would get healthier, you would be healthier and get more energy than any root or bark or berry. But you have to use it before 45 minutes. I took some people to the jungles of Central America, and I had them eating plants, you know, like this is the plant, this is the plant. I said, don't remove the plant from the source of its life. Just remove the leaf and eat the stem, because the stem is delicious and succulent. And they ate it all the way down. But as they was eating, wasn't that plant still continuing to get life from its source? Sure. So I unrooted some and held it for about half an hour. I said, eat it now. And I did not feel the toes buzzing and the energy that they felt while eating the one that was still growing. So spirulina. It's no good. But good if you're eating it at the source of life. This was not told. And then they even bastardized that by adding barley to it. They call it green magma. And barley is starch, so they have adulterated spirulina. But pure spirulina, no good after 45 minutes. Now, the other one is manipulations.
In terms of eliminating fibroids from the body.
Fibroid tumors are holding on to your body, caused by mucus that is adhered to your walls and membranes. I would like for someone to scientifically show me how manipulation, you're going to go in there and release this, just take this away from the walls. I have to see it. You know? You see, I'm the individual that see. You don't tell me things. You show me. Okay? Like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin told us that he created electricity, invented electricity by a kite and a key. Everybody believed that. That he just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and a lightning came and hit his key. Fine, Franklin. The lightning hit your key. Now you show me, mathematically and scientifically, how we're going to make this transfer. This scientific equation, this transfer from potential, asking about the spirulina, at least you asked.
Well, I'm taking it, so. And it gives me energy.
I bought spirulina.
Momentarily.
If you drink water, you get energy. You said momentarily. Let me tell you something. The best it would do is stimulate you, but it doesn't nourish you because it's dead. I used to take spirulina. I used to take ginseng. You know, I used to buy vitamin C and E, and I don't buy anything. Because I remained sick. And I didn't have the energy that I know I needed. Until I decided to go to the plants. The roots, the bark, the leaf. Not the leaf as much as the berries and the flower. Not the leaf, because the chemistry is different. These things are not shown to us. Now, about the manipulation. There are certain instances in which you could manipulate someone and put, you know, like a bone out of socket, you know, or a shoulder back into its place, but removing fibroids.
With the proper diet.
Well, hold it. With the proper diet, you remove every
This
disease.
comes from a natural.
The proper diet, you remove every disease. See, manipulation, chiropractic, and acupuncture, all these things came to us, but we didn't have any way to question it. We don't. We didn't. Acupuncture. What is acupuncture, I asked? Oh, it is the intercepting of the nerve endings. I said, fine, why does your nerve endings want to be intercepted? They want to be the transmitter of energy from A to B. Why you want to intercept? Well, we want to intercept to go into the body that the person was not feeling pain, and look, that's viciousness. Open the human body. That's adulteration. It was not made to be open. It would have a zip on it, right? Okay. So we don't do that. No, I disagree. There will be no manipulation to remove no fibroids. The only way it could be removed is that something go into the bloodstream. Say, just the wall and just the fibroid hanging onto the walls. Well, when you give someone a substance that goes into the bloodstream, and that substance have to be consistent with removing things from the wall of the intestines or from the wall of the individual. Removing things that does not belong in you. That is potassium phosphate, a dibasic. And we manufacture that, and we are the only people in the United States that's doing that now. As it adheres, as the substance enters the bloodstream, it goes in the walls and pushes things away. Doctors try to cut it out, but there is no knife that could separate this fibroid from the walls of your uterus. You're going to cut into you now. Or if it doesn't cut into you, you're going to have to leave some in there, and that's infection. But if you give the person something to drink, that goes with the bloodstream. And where doesn't the blood go?